I wouldn't be surprised if it was going to be a close game.
Right.
I would have been surprised if Miami would have blew them out.
See, and that's where you done got with it.
Right.
And it took a long time for us to get there. I kind of compare it to when Mike Tyson got out of jail, and we always thought he was going to get in the ring and knock somebody out again, and he really never did. But every time he get in the ring, we feel like,
right.
Boy, Mike Fight got the black shoes on, and then he can only go for about 2-3 rounds.
Welcome to South Florida. Yeah. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida. Welcome to South Florida, the bottom of the clip of the Gunshine State. What them boys still blowing in that way. Big plate, get it for the 18 if you straight. Get cake and stop hating, it's the motto of the state. A lot of face, but it's still real around here. That foreign talk that can get.
All right, man, we back, man. Crib Talk, Caneville. We in here today. First off, man, shout out to Edge, best tasting indie drink in the world. Y'all see it up here, Edge. Shout out to Edge. Check it out, liquorsplit.com. Order some Hennessy, though. You can order some Hennessy, a yak. They bring it to your house. It ain't Uber Eats either. Liquor Split got their own car. They bring it to your house, and then they give you a free Edge for the first time, man. It tastes really good, though. We'll give you some. We here with Earl Little, man. This senior. We here with Earl Little senior. How long you played in the league, bro?
9 years.
9 years in the league. University of Miami. Where'd you went? Michigan. You did. Tell me. Where you?
I started off Michigan.
Started off Michigan.
But that wasn't my first choice.
It wasn't?
No, I was. You want to finish or you want?
We'll get into that. Remember, man, y'all wonder. I know everybody asking about joining, especially iPhone lovers. It's right in the description. To join, it's right in the description. Make sure y'all like and share. We need y'all, man. Y'all part of the family. The whole Crib Talk, Caneville family. Y'all part of the family. We finna chat with Earl, man, about a lot of stuff, about his son, about football in general. We're gonna look at some plays. Do you watch the games? You watch the games?
Do you games? Of course.
Yeah.
I was right in front of my big old screen television watching the game the other night.
Yeah? Yeah. You coach DB. When you was here last time, you were saying, man, some people don't know how to understand. I sit down and I break down film, so you understand what you're seeing, right?
Yeah. I look at the game as being a player.
Right.
When I got to the league.
Right.
And I started getting my feet wet in the league. And then I started realizing, I didn't realize it first. It's probably like my 3rd or 4th year in the league. When I watch games, I don't look at games like how I should look at it as a kid and as a fan before I got to the league, right? So now I'm looking at it as a mind, okay, I'm breaking down film. So I'm looking at this guy going in motion. I'm trying to see what coverage, because on television, you can't really see the whole, all 22 players on the field like you would see on a game tape that you watch the next day on Monday morning in the NFL. So, but I can see a lot of the things that they're doing, and I kind of know what they're playing. Yeah. Whatever. So so I look at it like that. So I look at it, and then also coaching ball. You look at it from a coach's point of view.
Right.
Because you basically
I got something I'm gonna show you. You probably remember the play, saw the play, but check this out. Check this play out right. And I just want you to break down and tell me what you think was supposed to happen. Okay, no. So we went a little far. We're going to get there. Yeah, we're going to get there. I don't know why it didn't come back up. Oh, look. God was on my side. It went right there. This next play right here. You can watch the replay and watch everything. I want you to break that. I want you to tell me what you think was supposed to happen right there.
I was sitting right in the end zone, too.
Oh, you was there?
Yeah, I was at the game.
I was in the end zone, too. I was in the media up there, up. So they're going to show us the replay. Wait till you see the replay and all.
That boy was moving.
Oh, so you went to the game?
That boy, yeah.
That boy was. What?
I
still don't think he should be that much faster than us.
He was running 23 miles per hour, they said. All right, first and foremost, when they're down like that, back in the end zone like that, they're going to take a shot. It's like when you cross the 50-yard line, you got to remind the guy, hey, man, they're going to take a shot. Yeah. Being backed up like that, they're going to take a shot.
Look, okay, so what?
Now, Ivy,
right.
Ivy got to use his leverage. You got a middle safety player. Ivy got to stay on the outside shoulder of Williams and just ride him on the outside because he got the post safety help.
Okay, let's stop this. I want people to hear you break this down. So, okay, so what you're looking at, who man was that?
That was Ivy's man.
That was Ivy's man.
Number 8.
Was Hall in position?
which was 26.
26, yeah.
Yeah, he's the middle field safety.
So what was supposed to happen?
Now when he went, I think they was in the bunch formation. I think that was the point guard. I think.
Want to watch it again?
Yeah, let's watch it again. I want to make sure.
Yeah,
all right?
let's watch it again. This was the amazing part about them going deep like that. The freshman quarterback had just almost got a safety. And they had the ball to say third down. They was going ahead and go deep. They was in the bunch?
They was in the bunch.
Okay.
All right. So Ivy had the point.
Uh-huh.
Ivy got to play head up to outside.
Right.
Right. He know I got my middle field safety right here. So I got to ride his outside shoulder. And I know my middle field safety out there because I know he took an inside release.
Right.
He took a real inside release. So that right there tells you alone that he's going to run a dig. All right, he's gonna try to get on top of you. You need to run a dig, but most likely he's gonna bend it back and run a 7 route.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Or you could call it a sail route, whatever terminology you want to use. But Ivy didn't use his leverage. He didn't stay on his leverage, and that boy was riding because he playing. It looked like he was trying to anticipate to see if he was gonna break it off short.
Yeah.
And I always tell the kids.
So you think he could have ran an option on that route? Like he could have did something else?
Who?
The
Ivy?
wide receiver.
No,
you say Ivy
is thinking that because a lot of shorties they try to anticipate this guy gonna run. When you're in man coverage, man, you got to protect the deep ball.
Right.
First and foremost, but he would just beat off rip because he didn't use his leverage. You see 26 in the middle of the field right there. So the only thing he had to do was just stay on his outside shoulder, and then he run right to him and stay in his hip pocket and stay on top of the route. And he make that play, or Bryce don't throw that ball.
Okay, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the crazier part about that. That's the same play they ran, second play of the game.
Second play of the game.
And he missed them.
And that was they
the same two our veteran safeties and cornerbacks.
Hey, you know they have it at UN.
Right.
So one thing they got to do is, show it to him on the iPad and tell him what he did wrong. And then the coach him upstairs, the defense assistant, the graduate assistant on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
He gonna let him know. He gonna let him know as well that he did something wrong.
The first time.
Yeah.
So the second time.
It was on Ivy, so it was on Ivy and not Hall.
Hall got to get back over. He got to get depth. He's the last line defense. So that's really Ivy's dude. Ivy didn't use his leverage, his help. Hall was his leverage help. That's all Ivy.
So Ivy's job is basically to run the offensive player to Hall.
It was cover one. So head up the outside where I got post safety help. Wow. Cover 0, you don't have no safety help.
So they was in man.
Yeah, cover one.
So because Cam had picked up the short guy.
You look at them again, you can see all of them. They going with their guy. That's not a zone defense. That's
Tell me this, as a DB, you play in the league, bro. It's the pass being able to block that long is a problem, right? That's also a problem, right? Because that is a long route.
That's called, but that's why the fastest dude got to run that route, and then the offensive line got to be able to protect Bryce.
Right.
And that's what they did. That was just great offensive line play, and that just was a fast dude running a great route. Which does that mean he's that much better than Ivy?
Right.
I don't know, but what I do know Ivy played that technique wrong, and he wasn't running fast.
That play really.
It's football 101, man.
that play really bothered me. But even if it's blocked, right? If Ivy does it right, it's protected. I mean, it's defended.
Now Bryce got to throw that ball away, either outside, out of bounds, so nobody can make a play on that ball.
Right.
But since he saw, because a quarterback mind got to work so fast and so quick. It's like, that's like people can talk trash about quarterbacks, but that's one of the toughest positions to play mentally.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because you got to be able to dissect that play and all that stuff moving like right now, and it's moving like this. And that's what a good quarterback does, and that's what the kid did. And they saw they had it the first time they ran it. Yeah. And it just was a bad ball thrown by him. The second time he got that ball on the outside where it was supposed to be. Because if he would have threw that ball the first time, because remember it came this way, and he was like this, and then he had to come back. You see what I'm saying? And it was a bad throw. So this time I know I'm gonna make this throw now.
But I think it did what it was supposed to do. When I saw them do that, I was like, oh, they just backed us off. Because they knew we was there to stop the run, and they just showed us, y'all keep creeping up here, and we're going to go deep.
You got to understand about that offense that Bama runs. They want to run the ball, but Saban has moved up because Saban he don't like all the spread and all the hurry. He's on record saying that. So what you got to do, you got to be able to adapt because the times have changed. You're not going to see 21 personnel like you used to see in the 80s, in the 90s, and in the early 2000s, and stuff like that. You're not going to see it. So now everything is 11, 10 personnel, and so they spreading this thing out, and you got to be able to adjust. But that offense that they run, you see there's always a new offensive coordinator that comes to Bama, right? They go and get a better job, a head coach or whatever.
Right.
But that offense remains the same. That's Saban's offense.
Second person
That's
in the week
Saban's
just told me that. Battle Dad told us the same thing the other day.
That's Saban's offense.
Right. The system stays the same.
So
that's why
it keeps.
That's why I keep.
You can come in and you can put a little tweak and add your little salt and pepper to it.
Yeah.
But it stays the same.
As a former Cane man, you in the group with all the greats, bro. When you see Miami get beat that easy, how does it make you feel?
It's painful.
Right.
Because you got so much love for the school. You're growing up in Miami, being a Hurricane fan, going to the Orange Bowl, watching games with Lily C. Evans Park used to take us to the games, or the big games that the park couldn't get us into. We still used to walk to 75th Street, 17th Avenue, catch that 17 bus, drop us off right in front of the Orange Bowl, and found our way in that game somehow.
Right.
And we would
way in the game.
So we was going to the game.
I done been there before,
jump through the wall, walk around that hole.
I done been there trying to get in there.
Look at the guy at the turnstile and show him $2 or whatever, and you walk and put it in his hand. So,
I'm trying to figure why were we down there, but you just jogged the memory, dog.
and then being a Cane, and then seeing the tradition that the guys built from the late '70s, that class, and then the '83 guys, bringing that first. I remember watching the first national championship at my grandfather's duplex. I remember watching that game that night, and I couldn't believe that.
Who played?
Miami and Nebraska.
Oh, the first one. Okay, you said the first one. Okay.
And I'm like, dang, like we have a football team that's real good down here, because all you see back there was the Notre Dames, the Oklahomas,
right.
Nebraskas and stuff like that, the Michigans and Ohio States. But that tradition in that family, and then going to watch. Andre was the quarterback for Northwestern back in the days, and then you had Bain playing, you had Kevin Feeney. I may forget some other things, but right. I know ball.
Right.
And I know the history. I remember watching Jackson, the Soul Bowl, and the West play at the Orange Bowl. The West win the game. You go out there on the field, and I'm like, man, I'm actually on the Orange Bowl turf as a little boy.
Right. So it's embedded in your DNA.
Yeah.
Is it?
So it feels sickening.
Right.
But sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, you good.
When I first got on the Zoom call with T-Rob and DVD, when everything started opening back up earlier this year, and I told them, and this is something that I mentioned it on another show.
Yeah. That
all about development and production, because T-Rob was recruiting junior before he came to UN.
Right.
But we
South
didn't have.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida, South Carolina.
Y'all was answering the phone?
Huh?
Y'all was answering the phone?
Earl, they can talk to me anytime.
T-Rob said the kids wasn't answering the phone for him when he was at South Carolina.
yeah, shorties ain't going to South Carolina. We may get a couple.
That's why I made a joke.
But I told him in DVD, I was like, it's all about development and production. And I know T-Rob has done a great job producing DBs.
Right.
But at the time, I did tell them, I said, man, it's embarrassing. And I said, and it's sickening. I said, I remember when Miami played Boston College, when Ed Reed took the ball from the defensive end and ran it back. I was driving to the team hotel. We had a game. We had a game that night. The next day in Cleveland. So I'm driving to the team hotel. I'm sweating, my palms and my hands. I'm nervous. You got anxiety. It's like I'm having an anxiety attack. That's the feeling I used to have when Miami were in close games. From a kid growing up before I got there, obviously playing there, and then after playing there, because of the love and for the school and the program, and then you get sweaty, your palms sweaty, I'm nervous, and now it's to that point where I hate to say it, I'm not expecting us to lose, but it's kind of that feeling like, okay, here it is, another game that we going war to war and nail biters with Duke. No disrespect to those kids that's playing, but when you look at the tradition of the school, North Carolina running for 90,000 yards on us, and then last week against App State. But I told a friend of mine, and I said it in the group text, the WhatsApp, the Cane group text, I wouldn't be surprised if App State would have beat us. Mm-hmm. I would be surprised that it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a close game.
Right.
I would have been surprised if Miami would have blew them out.
See, and that's where you done got with it.
Right.
And it took a long time for us to get there. I kind of compare it to when Mike Tyson got out of jail, and we always thought he was gonna get in the ring and knock somebody out again, and he really never did. But every time he get in the ring, we feel like,
right.
Boy, Mike Fight got the black shoes on, and then he can only go for about 2-3 rounds.
I'm a huge boxing fan. I love boxing. I go to Vegas and watch fights, man. And, oh yeah, I go to New York and watch fights. My granddad was Muhammad Ali is my favorite athlete of all time, and I remember watching him fight like his last couple fights as a little boy because my granddad was all about Ali.
Yeah.
Ali and the New York Yankees. I'm a Yankees fan because I played baseball too. I stopped playing when I got to high school. I was a pitcher and third baseman, but my granddad was a huge baseball fan, being a huge Yankees fan. So I was. A lot
of older people are though. Like my grandma loves baseball.
Yeah, and I played baseball. I did a little bit of amateur boxing. You know, when I was little. Not in no tournaments or whatever, but I was getting the reps in. You know.
Right.
You know, my next door neighbor that was by my grandfather, he was a AAU amateur boxer and a champion.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, dang, this kid just moved. He was older than me, though. He was like a teenager, and I'm still like 9 years old.
Yeah. So I say that to say we all sit and watch the older guys, 40 years old. But we all sit and we remember what it was. It took them a long time to take that feeling out of us.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Who wins games? Is it players? Could recruit a bunch of 5 stars and bring it back, or is it systems? At American Heritage, y'all are beating people because y'all got the best players, or is
it's a little bit of both. You know, it's coaching and it's players, and you got to develop those players because you can get the best kid out of youth football to come to your school, and if you don't develop them, and there's levels to this development as well.
Yeah.
Because you can get a lot of kids that go to certain high schools, and then when they go to college, they fizz off.
Right.
I could see on tape that a lot of kids not being taught to play the game the right way.
On tape, you talking about just college?
On Huddle. Or you talking about high school kids.
High school kids.
But to answer your question, like I said, it's a mixture of everything. It's the coaches, it's the players, and it's the scheme. And the coaches got to coach, all right, and the kids got to be willing and wanting to be coached.
Right.
And you have to learn the system because there are some players that have all the talent in the world, but if they can't learn the system, you can't go out there and play because you can't play fast.
So you've seen players that should be on the field. It's just that when they get out there, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm seeing it now.
Right.
On the high school level, and even at our school.
Yeah. And
I saw it in the NFL.
So some make it all the way to the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, well there's y'all answer why y'all always saying why they not playing Jack the young players. That's y'all answer right there. They love want to see the guy that they can't see because they assume what the coaches see in practice just ain't yeah, the coaches got favorites. That's what they always say. They got favorites, man. They like to play the old players.
Yeah, you say Jack. A friend of mine got a dog named
Jack.
Jack. Yeah, I call him Jack. But it's like I saw that on Twitter last night. You know, people was discussing why aren't they playing this person? Why aren't they playing the younger dudes? You know, it's like with Leonard Taylor, a 5-star kid. You know, big boy, but it's levels to this, man.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to put that kid in that situation where he might get himself hurt first and foremost. But on top of that, I'm not saying the kid doesn't know the playbook, but you got to know that playbook. This ain't high school where they just tell you just dominating that kid that's in front of you, that's not on that same level with you. So now you got to go against these big dogs in practice. And if you're not showing it in practice, they're not going to put you out there in the game. Right. Now that also says something about the guys that's playing over them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because now, you know, you would think that, okay, he's a 5-star, but that's why kids don't ever get caught up, in fans don't get caught up in the star stuff, because once they graduate from high school, it's a whole nother level to it. They got to go to college. So now they playing against kids that are 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. They're not the 18-year-old kid that's playing against maybe a 14, 15, 16. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so now it's levels to it. because you got to understand this playbook, and that's another story about playbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Hey, well, and I know the coaches never really come out and say that. The most I've heard them say, I think Manny said something about Huff during the summer. But they'll never come out and say it that, man, he ain't a lot of plays.
No,
man.
because you don't want to, because people can twist things around. You don't want Manny or T-Rob and those guys to come out there and say something like that to the public, and then people can take it and flip it. Trust me, I understand that because I've seen it happen with me
right.
on another show. And I've been dealing with the media since I was 16 years old, so I understand what comes with some of it that comes with it. But you know, that kid, if he's not ready, he's not ready. As good as James is a heck of a football player.
Yeah.
James' football IQ is up here.
Right.
Trust me, I know because I coach the kid.
Yeah.
You know, James is a football player. And, you know, they got to bring him in. There's some things that he's probably not getting.
Right.
That's holding him back. But now you want, like, I saw some things like that. Oh, well, why didn't we open the offense up like that when we played Alabama? You know, it's not. Appalachian State, not Alabama.
Man, you may lose King. Talking about opening the offense up.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Keep King throw it in the front row.
It's different. So now you can come over here and I say I can play a little bit. We can play a little bit more loose or whatever.
Right.
But the competition is totally different. And then because James is going to see the field. Like, I just saw something the other day that they say him and is it Kitchens?
Kitchens.
They said I think they're gonna
Kitchens,
play. They're gonna play more. Right.
Yeah, he was came to the podium at the press conference.
And then James came in and did
made
a good job
a couple. He had 2 tackles for loss, I think.
And the kids that I coach, and James will tell you, I was the number 2 DB in the nation when I came out of high school.
Oh, okay.
You know, I can send it to you, and it's there. You know, you look at the top kids that came out. Bobby Taylor, that was from Longview, Texas.
But we ain't paying attention to numbers, man.
No, right. But I'm just saying. but this is my point of getting to it. I was rated as the number 2 defensive back in the country when I came out. But when I got to school, I had to sit behind an All-American. Right? I moved another guy out. I was 13 when I got there, but I moved another guy out. You see what I'm saying? I was the second string. The first team gonna get all them reps. He gonna play. And then when I got to Miami, the same thing. Right. I had another All-American in front of me, but guess what? I played as a freshman.
Did you?
Yeah, I played every year. I played my freshman year. They tried to hit me up with Marvin Harrison. I picked him off. So
where you played? At Syracuse?
Syracuse. So I played as a freshman on special teams, and then when we beating the heck out of people, I'm gonna get my reps in.
Right.
You know, then the next year I made Sporting News. My next year I wasn't a starter, but I made Sporting News second team All Big East. You know, I think I had 5 picks that year, but I played. So kids need to think, because a lot of kids, oh man, when I go to college, man, I need to start. I need to play right now. And that's a fake world that they're living in, because now you have to go up there and learn that system, and then you got to go out there and make plays, because all your life you've been the best kid. So you move from 1 pound, I go up to the next pound. Ain't no competition. I'm that guy. And I go to 105. Now I got to go to 115. I'm that guy.
Now you're competing in practice. Yeah.
Not in Optimus.
No, in college.
So then when you go to high school, you know, it's the same old thing. So now you go to college, you know, now you got to compete.
Right.
That's why I say it starts over. So don't get caught up in the star stuff.
Yeah, I tell kids all the time, hey, listen, man, there's 2 parts of the recruiting thing. It's one to be posting on Instagram how many offers you got in my top 5, and then how often you think a kid actually get to campus? They get to when they get to Clemson, or they walk in Georgia, or they get there and they realize, and they look around, they say, why didn't I think this through first? Because it's people in front of me. They good, you know what I'm saying? Like, they good. I'm finna have to fight. It's almost like they start over. You go from being a star to starting over. And I tell them, listen, you better think forward to where you're going. You better look at their roster, look at their depth chart, find out where you're going, because at the end of the day, eventually you want to get on the field. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of the process. You know, when you go through it, and some of these kids don't have that leadership, that guidance in them. You know, and a kid gonna make kid decisions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know.
Wait, I ain't gonna cut you off, but there's another thing to it. It's levels to it too.
No doubt. I was about to go there.
According on who your I tell them, you gotta know your child's level of talent.
I had a friend
and place him as much. There's levels to it. Best red velvet cheesecake I ever taste. Cindy Squeeze.com. Go find out for yourself, bro.
Go on ESPN website, and I'm talking to the parents out there. Look at every NFL roster, and go down the roster and look at where these guys went to school. Everybody didn't go to Miami. Everybody didn't go to Florida State, Florida, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. You look, you got that. If you pass that eyeball test, for the most part, you know that's going to kick in. Let's just be real about it. You may have a shorty that's 5'7", but he better be tearing it up like Darren Sproles was. Can you imagine Darren Sproles in high school? You see what I'm saying? So you better be tearing it up like that. Right?
Eating people and throwing the helmet in the front row.
So the size does matter.
Right.
You know, and then what are you putting out there on the field? And the NFL got so much money, they're going to have people that's going to come out and scout and see. So, you know, it's just all about you just getting yourself in school to go play ball and make it happen once you get on that field.
So you said when I was talking to Bane, I said something that was a little incorrect. I mean, about the issue with you and recruiting your son. Well, what did I say wrong? Like, what did I say wrong? The
way when somebody sent it to me, I didn't know it. You know,
that's how it always happens.
I don't be fishing or whatever.
That's how it always happens.
You know, and a good friend sent it. Actually, a relative sent it to me.
Yeah.
You know, and but not in a mean way.
Right.
You know, and sent it to me, whatever, and I saw it, and then and it was like. And the only thing I text back, like, nobody can tell your story the way you can tell it.
Right.
And that's nothing against him.
Right.
You know, and these good people, right? So, but the thing was, in that situation, and let's go back to January. You know, I reached out to Manny. He never hit me back, right? That's not, all right, cool. So I reached out to another coach, and I screenshot, because I have Manny's phone number.
Right.
Obviously, I reached out to him, and I asked the coach, is this his number? And he was like, yeah, that's it. So I was like, okay, well, I know he got the message.
Right.
You know, whatever. So I never heard back from him until.
Come on, we're going to get into this. All right, go ahead.
Until my birthday, which is March 10th. So people would shout me out birthday on Twitter. So I get a text from him wishing me happy birthday and saying, let's talk sometime later on today.
Manny?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 2 months later.
Oh, it's 2 months later?
That's 2 months later.
Okay.
Now, I done showed you on my phone that I got text messages. This ain't no weirdo stuff. I got text messages. I just don't erase text messages from 2017. Right. I showed you that.
Right.
And I showed you that. Right? It's not no weirdo stuff where I'm just going to keep Manny text messages or whatever. I showed you from my doctor, Butch Davis name in there, friends, relatives, whatever. So when I saw that, me as a man, I felt disrespected. You see what I'm saying? That's just bottom line. And people who know me, if I reach out to you, common courtesy is
so you just felt, I reached out to you 2 months ago.
Right.
My son was one of the top DBs in the nation.
And that's
okay, so first, from man to man, you should hit me back. But
period point.
I got some leverage over here, and you took 2 months to hit me back.
Right.
Because did he mention why he took 2 months or no?
No, he never addressed the issue.
No.
And I just felt disrespected.
Yeah.
For one, then I hear people say, oh, well, you know, I read people's stuff, whatever, and I'm not mad at nobody because I know they fanatics, they're fans.
They're fans, right.
And a lot of people don't understand this process. For one, it's not me taking a shot at nobody. They never been through it, for one. Then they never been through it. This is my first time going through it as a parent.
Right.
You know, I've done it as a high school coach, as a head football coach, as a, assistant head football coach, a defensive coordinator on the high school level.
Right.
Coached at FIU with Coach Davis for 2 years. So I know how this process goes. So now I'm going through it with my child.
So tell people what I did. What did I say wrong?
Okay, so
it was your birthday, right?
What?
What did I say wrong? What did I do?
Oh,
Let me shut up.
You was like
shut up.
That Mama Little I was mad that he didn't reach out to Jesse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's not true?
He didn't reach out.
Right.
But he was told that today is her birthday.
Right.
And that was told to us as parents of Earl Little Jr. I want to make it seem like I'm talking in the third person.
Right.
And that was almost like the final straw with that. Now, I can go all the way back to where I told DVD. Now I'm gonna say his name. That's my boy. He's like my little brother. I've been doing DVD
good
since.
Dude.
Great dude. I know good dude. Great dude. I've been doing DVD since he was in high school.
Right.
And when he was at Pace, and then I remember when he came out to the Orange Bowl for the spring game.
Right.
You know, before he got to Miami. You know, so we go way back. That's my dog right there.
Yeah.
You know, I got so much respect for DVD. That's my boy. We talked. Shoot, about a month ago, we talked on the phone for 2 hours. You know, just talking ball and just talking. You know, because we friends. We like brothers. So, but I told him, and Jesse told him as well, that, and he was like, man, Mama Little ain't playing. It ain't gonna be no freebies just because his daddy went to UM.
Yeah.
Y'all got to recruit him just as much as everybody else recruiting him. Because a lot of people in their mind would think that he's going to Miami because I went to Miami. And like I said on another show, I would never do that to my child. I would never force my child to go to a school that he doesn't probably want to go to. Because at the end of the day, if I force my child to UM or any other school and it doesn't work out for him, now I got to deal with that resentment. This is the relationship that I've been having with my boy from day one. You know, some guys have sent their kids and were like, oh, he's going to UM and this and that, whatever.
But I hear parents say that, though, right? But do you think, how old Earl is?
He just turned 18.
You think he old enough to make that decision? You think he really knows what?
The way we raise him and the way we talk, Earl is a mature individual, you know, for himself. But I can go back to that. And he is making his own decision.
Yeah.
And then he's making the decision and we supporting him.
Right.
You know, we supporting him to 1,000,000% wherever he goes to school. I've always raised this kid, and Jesse as well. We together in this. This is family. But I'm talking about the football stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't no helicopter dad. You know, it's teaching them and know what it takes to get to where you trying to go. When I saw that he had that love for the game, which I already knew when he was 3-4 years old. You know, want to play around with the ball, you know, and stuff like that. So it just it's his decision to make. But we're going to support him. But I knew I had to help get him going mentally, physically, and mentally about this game.
So now DVD and T-Rob does recruit Earl, right?
Yes, no doubt. Yes.
But what's your relationship with Manny?
I have, like I said on the other show, there's no relationship.
Why the other show got you first? I'm just joking.
They hit me up. And they asked me.
Listen, so you don't have you don't have nothing against Manny. What I'm asking is do you and Manny talk?
Man, for one, I don't know Manny.
All right.
So I don't have no street beef with Manny.
No, right.
But when it comes to recruiting,
we're talking about recruiting wise.
Right. There's no relationship.
You haven't really talked to him?
I never talked to him. I never talked to him about recruiting my child.
Yeah.
Never. That's what my best friend Marlon Barnes sold. And I hate to go that route. Just to put it out there, let you know I'm passionate about that. Marlon was my best friend since the second grade.
I'm gonna tell you a Marlon story.
You know, we best friends since second grade. So, but I haven't
talked to him.
I haven't talked to him. But here's the thing. You were recruiting another kid on our team.
Mm-hmm.
You reach out to his mother and see how he's doing at track meets and see how he's doing.
Right.
It may sound petty to some people, but this is real talk.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's an issue with this. You would think that you say, okay, well, Earl mother probably know this kid mother.
Yeah.
And guess what? Earl mother and that mother are like this. We were supposed to go to New Orleans to play this week. They was gonna stay in the same hotel room.
So that's what
together.
you're saying.
So
and it's somebody y'all trust. Y'all trust somebody y'all trust what they saying.
I know for a fact that he reached that she showed me text messages. I didn't go to her.
Manny's talking
she told Jesse
Yeah.
what was going on, and then Jesse told me, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, they are teammates. Like, but here's the thing: Earl is a legacy kid. You would think that, you know, a legacy kid that's an All-American. So you would think that I'm gonna get on this kid and I'm gonna reach out to his parents, because you cannot recruit our child and not have a relationship with the parents. One thing I learned from Coach Davis in this whole recruiting process: recruiting is the lifeline of a program. That we all know that. That's right. So you better build a relationship with the parents. The parent, if the parent is single or plural, the parents,
right,
and the guardian of that child. You better build that type of relationship with that person.
Right.
And I can honestly say, and these are facts. I don't have a relationship. Jesse doesn't have a relationship with Manny.
Okay, so who's
Now,
recruiting
T-Rob,
him? Who's
I
recruiting him
talk-
the hardest? Oh, you talk to T-Rob and
who's
DVD. You talk to T-Rob and DVD, right?
Yep.
So out of other schools, who's recruiting him the hardest? Give me 3 schools that's coming at him real hard.
And I'm gonna tell you straight up, I be laughing at some of these comments when I see them sometimes. You know, because I mean, I got time out the day where I can get back and I can get on Twitter and I look at stuff. Who's recruiting the hardest? The hardest or the hardest schools?
Yeah, you ain't got to put them in order now, but who's coming at him hard?
Oregon,
Okay,
USC,
all right.
Florida State, Florida, Bama, the hardest.
How many head coaches do you talk to?
Every last one of them except the school that I gave my blood, sweat, and tears from.
He beat me. He just took the question and just ran right to the. He just ran. You got a relationship with every last one of them head coaches. Well, USC ain't got no head coach. You got
Dante Williams, the head coach now. And guess what?
Who is it?
Dante Williams.
And guess what?
He's
What?
the DB coach.
And what?
He hit me up last night. And guess what he said?
So let's slow down. You got a relationship with Christy Ball. You got a relationship with
I was trying to get your son out west, right?
right.
That's it, because, you know, that's Earl's best friend. I mean, that's Earl's favorite DB, right? So I just sent him that picture.
Yeah,
You know, let me go back.
and that's USC. So he done took over the head coaching job.
Yeah. And he was like, we need to link up. On top of that, I can trip you guys out here again if you up to it.
Yeah.
So he can take another official visit to USC.
He could.
Yeah.
So you got a relationship with all them coaches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The camera right there. Look at the camera right there. You talk to all those other head coaches.
Yeah.
Nick Saban, #1 team in the nation. They all have took time to call you. But you saying you don't have a relationship with, and you, because what you're saying is, this is what I think the disconnect is. The fans don't understand this. They like, T-Rob DVD should be enough. You like, well,
That's not-
why is the carpet being rolled out from across the nation, or why are other programs treating it like they really care and my home program isn't? That's the thing. The disconnect is that you talk to all those head coaches. Why is it different at some schools? Like, why some head coaches don't call me? And I think the fans don't understand that. That you wouldn't be saying that. It's not a shot at Manny per se. It's sort of like I talk to everybody else. And it's not the first time I've heard this. Not necessarily about the coaching, but just about the recruiting.
It's if it was any other coach, I'd say the same thing.
Right.
You know, but the fact that it hits harder when it's a kid that lives right down the street from the University, not literally, but you know, get what I'm saying. But who's a legacy kid that's from here, but the head coach doesn't have a relationship with the parents. And here's the thing, people, don't say, oh well, we knew that he might be going to Bama, or he might be going to Oregon, he might be going to USC. No, this happened way before that.
But it's a fight though, isn't it? It's called recruiting.
It's called recruiting, and that's one thing I learned from Coach Davis, who still have some of the same things that they did with Jimmy Johnson at Dallas and back in the 80s when they were at UM together, that I learned from him at FIU. You must build a relationship with the parents of that recruit, because there's no way that you can DVD and T-Rob doing a great job, but how can we? I don't know you, so how can I trust and say my son say, hey Dad, I want to go to Miami? So as a father, as a parent, bro, I have no relationship with this head coach. You may be late to class one day. Mm-hmm. He may throw you in the doghouse. I don't know how he's going to treat you. I can't trust you.
What do you say to people that say this? DVD, your homeboy. You know him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how close you is to anybody at USC. I don't know how close. What do you say to people that say that? You could trust that DVD to have his back, even if Manny went after him at.
I could trust DVD, but guess what?
I don't think Manny.
But who made the calls?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I just about to say, I don't think DVD swing a bigger bat, but.
You see what I'm saying? And then,
But you understand what I'm saying? You actually know DVD.
But here's the kicker to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my decision to make.
Right.
It's my child's decision where he wants to go to school.
Right.
And like I said before, Miami has never been up here on Earl list to go to school. Now, was he interested? Had some interest in them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I told them, y'all got to recruit him. And Jesse told him as well. Y'all got to, ain't no freebies. Y'all got to recruit him.
Gotta come on.
I know you go down there on campus and watch practice. You got the media pass.
Yeah.
I ain't saying you got to put it on air with DVD because this is the one that I talk to 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
because that's the relationship. He's the
Yeah.
guy that now T-Rob. When I took Earl down there, drove him down to the barbecue.
Yeah. You saying he'll tell you that what it is. You told him straight up what it is. What y'all gonna have to do to get me? So DVD.
No, I told,
DVD knows.
I told him. Yeah,
He knows what y'all were requiring.
DVD know this road from 2019.
Right.
All right, and then the whole thing is they got to recruit, and this is coming from a reporter that I spoke to before the Alabama game.
Right.
Because he called me up and was like, "Hey, what you think about the game? This, and that." You know, because I did an interview with him before. You know, he wanted to do talk about Earl,
Right.
whatever. And this is the thing that killed me when he said that coaches on his UM staff, he put them in plurals. He didn't say one coach. They feel that the local top kids, they feel disrespected by the local top kids because they should choose Miami first. What planet do y'all live in, bro? That's the honest God truth. And I asked the dude, I was like, what? And he was like,
The
yeah.
reporter said that. Okay.
A beat
Okay.
writer, like
Listen.
a Canes reporter.
Did Earl Little see you play at UM?
Tape,
What year was Earl Little born?
03.
So Earl Little knows.
He haven't seen Ed Reed them play in person.
Right.
At the U.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So these kids nowadays, only thing they can do is go on YouTube and see old games.
Right.
So they don't feel what we all felt and saw as fans and me as a player.
Right.
And then afterwards, you know, we went on probation.
Right.
You know, my last couple of years there, and then the program went. I wasn't there. My rookie year in the league, I think we won like 5 games that year.
Yeah,
And then we picked it back up, you know, and then, you know, Butch was doing a hell of a job recruiting, you know, whatever, and got the boys, and then they ended up playing for 2 national championships. Should have won 2 in a row. You know, we got the flag call. Should have won 3 in a row. That's right. The Florida too. They screwed us with that game.
Right.
So
So wait. So cause when you say my son never was high on UM,
right.
and I asked the question, did Earl ever see you play? Nah, he was born in 2003. Since 2003, who does Earl think runs college football? Like they all say it. It's been three schools.
It's been Clemson,
And
Ohio State, and Alabama.
And I don't think I once told my stepdaughter that Miami was good, and she laughed
Right.
at me and my girlfriend, and she was serious too, and I was like, no, Miami used to run college football, and she was like, boy, please.
Right. They don't believe it because they
haven't seen it.
We haven't competed for a national championship since 2003.
Right. They didn't see it. So
That was January. I mean, because I was supposed to go to that game, but we made the playoffs. I had bought the ticket and everything to fly out to Arizona,
yeah.
and I couldn't go because we made the playoffs that year.
Right.
So we had to play Pittsburgh in the wild card game.
And who was your head coach?
Butch Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to Cleveland in '99. Butch got there in '01. So I played 6 of my 9 years in Cleveland, but the last 4 years I played under Coach Davis.
I always say Miami has out-recruited the whole ACC except for maybe Florida State, Clemson for the time they've been there. If you were to put it on paper, they probably out-recruited them. We want to say stars, ratings, whatever, right? But they've won the Coastal how many times, X? Once. And they've never won the ACC.
Twice and four.
We've never won the ACC, right? Right. But we've recruited the better players. I had this conversation with somebody on the staff too. We recruited the better players that whole duration. What do you think has happened? What do you think has happened?
Obviously, we all know that. You can say that they recruited the better players. I personally don't think that.
Okay,
What
happens?
I just think that they recruited now last year was a great class. They got some guys. So now I always like to use the term or the analogy. Reggie Bush was all that at USC.
Right.
But when he came into the NFL, the locker room, guys said like, "Hey man, you got to prove it all over again."
Right.
In the league, we don't care nothing about you winning the Heisman.
Right.
You got to show and prove. And that's what Miami has done. And part of it is recruiting and that goes from the president, the AD, to the head coach. haven't seen Miami play for a national championship in a lifetime.
Yeah.
They have not seen Miami win the ACC since they've been in.
So you don't think they've out-recruited Virginia, North Carolina? You don't think they've out-recruited them?
Yeah, I think that's
Wake
better. I think
Forest.
there's better players, but then here goes the thing: once you get to college, you got to develop.
Okay.
You got to produce. We still get guys that go to the NFL,
Right.
and then you look at them, they successful in the NFL. You're like, well, dang. Well, what's been going on while they spent 4 years in college? That's why I talk about the development and production.
Right.
You know, because it's facts. It's not me ishing on my school. It's facts.
No, I'm asking you. So what do you think happened? You obviously you go to the games. You've watched it. You watched us be 30-30 versus North Carolina or whatever we is 41, whatever the numbers are. We're kind of with some of those teams. We're kind of like it's even at the score.
Dude, we just don't have. It's a little bit of everything. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's going on like inside the building as far as the development part, but I can see on the field, and it's not just me talking. These are conversations that we have as, cause dude, we as Kane alumni, we love this school. Like we went out there and played it.
Right.
I understand the passion from the fans and all that. We get that, but I'm talking about guys that went out there and built this program to be. You can wear a U shirt in Europe and you'll see somebody throw it up at you.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the airport with a hoodie on, with a UM hoodie, whatever. People walk by, it's all about the U or throwing it up. Just people from that's what was built.
It's almost like it's a tattoo. You have to wear
Right.
it, whether it's good
So
or
you just-
bad. You still.
So just because you put it on the side of your helmet, you know, that doesn't mean you're gonna go out there. People gonna fold because people. It's like being at Heritage. Your game is always a playoff game, no matter who you're playing.
Right.
So when you play the U, that's that team playoff
Right.
game. So it's a little bit of everything: coaching, the recruiting, the development. You know.
All right, man, we're going to get out here on that. Listen, y'all, we're going to come right back with Earl because we got some questions to ask him. We're going to ask him about Almost Star 1-3, about Eaton James. We're going to talk about all that. Y'all make sure y'all like, share. We'll be right back.
It's gonna take 3 motherfucking things, and that's what? It's shit.
I say, big time player.